This segment is designed to share a little bit about the difference between two types of statistics. In Chapter 1, you may have seen Spatz mention descriptive statistics and inferential statistics. And the main difference between descriptive and inferential statistics really has to do with what our intended use for those particular statistics or numbers might be. Whenever you're in doubt about any sort of vocabulary within this class, I always encourage students to examine the root of the word. So for example, the root of descriptive would be describe. And that's really all descriptive statistics are meant to do, simply describe. So for example, if I was interested in knowing and only knowing what the average grade point average of my class was, then I would just simply ask them to provide me with their grade point average, and then I would take an average of all those numbers, and I would use that as a descriptive statistic. I would describe my class and say my class has a GPA of 2.9 or 3.7 or whatever it might be. That would just be a piece of information, a piece of number that I would, or a number rather, that I would use in order to describe that group, that particular class of people. Inferential statistics, on the other hand, the root of that word is infer. And I would ask you, even outside of the realm of statistics, just think about what does it mean to infer. To infer means to make an assumption about something. To infer could also mean to make a guess about something. When it comes to inferential statistics, the word infer means we are using a set of numbers in order to infer something about a larger set of numbers. Another way to put that would be we're taking what we know and we are making an assumption about things that we don't know. So, for example, let's say that I was interested in determining how well student athletes fare in college, again, related to their grades. Now, I didn't say student athletes at UMKC. I didn't say student athletes at University of Missouri and Columbia. I simply said student athletes. So that means that I'm interested in knowing something about all student athletes in the, let's just assume, the United States, within the United States. So I would take a sample of student athletes. Now, hopefully that is a representative sample. That's something we'll explore in another video in a little bit. I would gather information about my group of student athletes, and then I would make assumptions, assuming that my information is accurate. I would make some assumptions about student athletes as a whole. So that's essentially what we mean by the difference between descriptive and inferential statistics. It's not really, there aren't different types of numbers or different types of statistics necessarily used for description versus inference, but what it really has to do with is what our intended use of those numbers are. If we're simply interested in describing in a snapshot fashion to say, oh, the average height of the basketball team is, or the average grade point average of that class is, or the average rainfall in Kansas City is, we're simply describing. But if we're interested in making assumptions about a larger group, then we would be talking about inferential statistics.